Greetings, I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is the Chrono Jotter, and let's see are the streams working or not. Um, yes, and I'm all tapped out, so you only see a black screen. How about Rumble says live? That's usually a good sign. Yes, I do believe that all my streams are working. Um, Still wanna double check. You can listen to the music, I hope. Yes, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Alrighty. So let's continue with the game. I would save this one, of course. Yeah, so we just solved our second murder last time. It was quite obvious that it was Asakura, the roommate of Tama-chan, and their because of their interpersonal drama and difficulties, and we had our memories of Asakura awakened. That we knew that she had actually committed suicide in public out in the outside world, but now she was here, so maybe she was transported through time, or maybe we are in hell or limbo or something. But let's see where the plot leads us. After Ran finished telling Anne about Ran's memories of Koizumi and Asakura, the two of them returned to the dorms, where the other students had already gathered in anticipation of lunch. So yeah, Ran has been telling Anne pretty much everything about her time travel and everything like that. Like her time travel abilities, and I don't know how much Anne actually believes it, all that stuff, but well, we'll see. Ran took the opportunity to tell the others about the truth of the case as well. Oh, so that's why they didn't come to eat with us. I bet you they're having an argument in their room right now. Yorono-san, please don't joke about something like that right now. Sai shrugged. I was quite shocked when I saw Indo-san wander into the dorm this morning. The case was solved before I could even begin to make heads or tails of it. That's Ibuki-san for you, I guess. I know you said no joking, but this is actually kind of serious, isn't it? What if we check up on Makoto's room later and it turns out that Tama's been corpseified again? That would be the worst. As soon as Aya finished speaking, Miho gave her a punch to the back of the head, but judging from anyone's expressions, they had the same concerns as well, more or less. You know what, I'm going to check up on them. You'll all keep enjoying the food. You all keep enjoying the food. Sai stood up and left the dining room and headed up to the second floor. Oh no, Asakura will listen to Indo properly, right? She wanted Indo to shout at her, didn't she? Don't tell me I messed up, did I? I don't want to get vivisected by Tama Indo. Before long, Sai came back down the stairs with a faint grin, and with Asakura in tow. Relax, they're having plenty of fun. Indo needs to rest upstairs for a bit, so I just brought her down for now. I wasn't done talking to her yet. Whatever. At the sight of Asakura's transformation, Ran thought that she ought to open her mouth and say something, but Asakura ignored her and sat down straight at the table. I guess I'll catch you later, alligator. Mm. Ran let out a breath and lowered her head to start eating. But at that moment, Miho slid her chair over to Ran and pressed her mouth against Ran's ear. Ibuki-san, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? You're being quite mysterious. Miho lowered her head. Tonight I'm going to be switching bedrooms with Yoruno-san. Hmm? Huh? A room swap? But doesn't that mean... Miho turned her head aside, her eyes focusing on who knew where, and continued speaking. That's right, it means we'll be sleeping in the same room tonight. Okay, well, why are they doing that? Hmm. Chapter 1 complete. A chance to increase one of your stats has been acquired. Current attributes are 6, Investigation 6, Charisma 6, Alacrity 4. You know what? I still sort of just want more investigation. Because there was some challenge that required investigation 8. And, I guess it would be good to be jack of all trades, have 666, the number of the beast as skills, but I don't know. I don't favor alacrity as much as investigation and charisma. Don't know if that's a mistake. Attribute improvement complete. Current attributes are investigation 7, charisma 6, alacrity 4. Will you at least tell me why you want to swap rooms with Yoruno first? I got into a fight with Aya. Miho took a seat and gestured at Ran to sit down as well. Looks like she has a lot to talk about. Maybe it has something to do with what I saw in the kitchen a few days ago. I sure couldn't tell you two had a fight. Well, it isn't even the first time we've had an argument like this. I got into a big fight with her around when we graduated from middle school. Ah, so they've known each other for a long time? That argument was so bad, I almost decided I never wanted to see her again. It was all Aya's fault, and so I was really mad with her to the point that I decided to go to a different high school from her and terminate our relationship for good. Sounds serious. What even is this? Have I become Takei's private relationship advisor now? Exactly. Before this, I thought that maybe our relationship would improve, since we ultimately wound up attending the same high school anyways. But whenever romance has come up in our recent conversations, it always reminds me how she hasn't changed at all. Uh-huh. Yeesh. We really are just heading towards gossip time now, aren't we? Maybe I can try and use this opportunity to ask some important questions, though. So how come you and Toyama wound up in the same high school anyways? Well, nothing particularly special. My parents recommended this place to me and Aya's family did the same for her. I thought this was a very strange place at first, but now I've found that my classmates are all quite amicable and that the education system is quite distinctive. It's honestly pretty nice. Is it? You can't even be certain if you'll be able to properly participate in the college entrance examinations if you stay here. Miho blinked her eyes as if she hadn't expected that the conversation would swerve onto this topic. Well, that's not a problem. We've got student ID, so we can go to the city to take the exam when the time comes. Been so long since I've asked a question like that, I almost forgot how that I forgot how that the answers they give in response are only barely coherent. I guess there's little meaning in asking them how they got here at this point. Ever since I recovered my memories of Asakura and Koizumi sensei, it's become obvious that they did not arrive here through any remotely conventional means, so there's probably no use in wondering about it. Alright, so why exactly did you have an argument with Toyama then? Honestly, I don't have much interest in their relationship issues. The two of them aren't like Asakura and Indo. Even if they had a fight, these two are the type who would probably make up overnight anyways. Yeah, I like her, callous attitude because I don't care that much about their relationship either. At least I can't imagine Toyama giving Take the gold shoulder. I don't want to say. That response made the corners of Ran's eye twitch in irritation. If I don't tell you why we had the fight, are you not going to let me stay in your room? Nah, I don't care that much. Miho smiled, put her hands on her thighs, and leaned forward slightly. It's because I think Aya and Yorino-san get along well, so I... You call that an argument? Seems to me you're still looking out for Toyama. The phone in Miho's pocket lightly vibrated, and she unlocked it and took a look. It's a message from Yorino-san. She said that Tama's gone downstairs now. We should go down and pick lots again too. Ah, already. Yeah, I hope we get a new murder soon or something, weird. Oh, right. I almost forgot that was a whole thing. Okay. Ran and Miho headed downstairs together. The others had already gathered in the dining room with the cards used for picking lots already placed on the dinner table as well. Tama's eyes were puffy and red. She was sniffling a little, but she still stood next to Asakura and held onto one of Asakura's sleeves with her tiny hands. Seeing that, Ran relaxed a bit. Looks like Indo will be fine. Asakura still looking like she couldn't give a damn either way. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Ran took her place next to Anna and took her arm too, as though she and Tama were in a hand-holding contest. Alright then, let's begin drawing the lots. So I always get to pick first, is that it? Because I'm the player character. Ran took a card, its underside wasn't painted red. No problems here. I wonder if we're gonna be the victim or something. Next up is the victim. Makoto Asakura. Ran took card, Makoto Asakura was written on it. Speaking of Asakura, I have really got to have a proper conversation with her sometime. I wonder if it really matters. I doubt it really matters what card you pick. I assume you're gonna get the same result no matter what. Of course I could, save scum, save the game and try something and then load and try another card, but it's not that big of a deal. Ah! Suddenly the card in Aya's hand slipped out and fell to the table, making a crisp smack that drew everyone's attention. It landed face up. Miho Take was written on it. Wait, does that mean that she's also the killer? Okay, you did that on purpose. Oh, no, my hands just twitched. I must have practiced guitar too much recently. Aya laughed awkwardly. Miho didn't particularly react, though rather she simply reached out and stacked Aya's card on top of her own. So did everybody see the card or only us? Let's do a redraw then. Everyone else also handed their cards to Miho for her to shuffle. Oh, Toyama's play just made this situation a lot more convoluted. If Toyama is the culprit, then it's possible she intentionally dropped the card because she didn't want to kill Take. Yeah. Does this mean that Take will be more likely to be safe after the redraw? But what if Toyama draws Take a second time, or if we flip that around, if Take dies, does that mean that Toyama's probably not the culprit? Uh, or maybe Toyama is she's really the she's not the culprit, and she draw Take's card, but she really wants Take to die. And if she doesn't have the card, then it's very unlikely that she will die, so she dropped it. So the likelihood of Take dying increases. Tama Indo. After the cards were shuffled, Ran drew a new card. This time she drew Tama Indo. The last case really took a lot out of Indo. She deserves some rest. Anyways, there's no point to thinking about this. Let's wait until someone turns up dead first. After all, it's not like I'm going to be the victim. How do you know that? Alright then, the drawing is concluded. Everyone may now enjoy free time for the rest of the afternoon. But I'm still wondering, why did she say she's not gonna be the victim? Like, did she read the script, or is she just, overconfident or something? After Miho spoke, Asakura turned and went upstairs. Tama quickly followed her. I should visit Asakura when I've got the time later. Real curious what she and Indo have been talking to each other about. Hmm, new recall point, and now we have free time. Feels like there's a lot of things that need to be done. Yoru no Asakura, Koizumi, Indo, Toyama. Hmm. Okay, let's go talk to Asakura. Just you? Ran opened the door, but Tama was nowhere to be seen. Only Asakura was in the room, and she was sitting in a chair with one leg crossed over the other. She loosened her jacket and even unbuttoned the uppermost few buttons of her shirt. Her hairpin had vanished into an unknown location. Oh, so you're here for indoor, Ran, and I thought you'd come to visit me. It's unbelievable how different you look. Now there's two Yorunos running around this school. Blah. What? Is that not okay? No, it's actually pretty nice. Ran sat down on the opposite side of the desk as Asakura. She didn't expect that this would actually suit her more either, huh? Maybe if someone had helped her change like this before, then Asakura wouldn't have killed herself. So it was Indo who helped her. Hey, did you say something to Indo after she came back to life? Sure, I told her to yell at you for a while. Asakura rested a finger on her chin and grinned cheerfully. She did try her best to berate me, but mostly she was crying so hard that I couldn't even understand what she was saying. Really? Looks to me like you've both taken her words and tears to heart. Like you've taken both her words and tears to heart. Asakura didn't correct the run, she shrugged and continued. After this, I'm probably going to adjust the way I interact with her as well. There won't be a need to be so close with her the way things were before. What do you mean? No need to be so close. Don't panic, I just meant relative to before. Asakura grinned, pulling her legs off the table and leaning forward, letting her head rest in one hand. I suppose you thought I was Indo's master before, but from now on, who knows, maybe she'll be my master. Kinky. Do you two not know how to fool around in any other way? Asakura's attitude had convinced Ran that the relationship between her and Tama would only get better from then on, and in a way that was much more normal compared to how it used to be. So where's Indo? Library. She went all by herself? Won't your master be sad that she didn't bring you along? I see you're enjoying yourself at my expense too. Huh. She went on her own. It looks like she's found a project she wants to do even without me there to fuss over her, and she seems quite invested in it. Well, that's nice to hear. Ron stood up and pushed the chair back where it came from. Looks like you two's issues have been resolved, so I'll be going. You two's issues, is that correct? Sounds a bit weird. Whatever. Ron, thank you for getting Indo to say those things to me. It's made me feel a little better at least. Really? Asakura's straightforward attitude made Ran want to say something else to tease her a bit more, but it's already pointless anyways. What? Oh, nothing. I'm out. See you around. When Ran reached the door, she felt Asakura grab her by the wrist. I can't help you with Sakura's memory loss issues, but anything else such as... Asakura paused, unsure whether she should continue. Her eyes flitted from the floor to the ceiling and eventually settled back on Ran. I don't really know what I can help you with, but if you need any help with anything, come find me. Ran remembered how the first time they met, Asakura had said almost the exact same thing to Ran. This time you sound a lot more sincere. Don't tease me. Grinning, Asakura let go of Ran's wrist. Trust me, when I need your help, I won't hesitate to ask. See you later. As Ran departed Asakura's room, she noticed that the door to the next room was only halfway closed. That's Toyama and Takei's room, right? Isn't it? Ran approached the door and through the crack in the door saw that Miho Takei was fussing about with something in the room. Takei, what brought you back here? Oh, Ibuki-san. I was organizing some of my things to bring with me. This close? If you want to use anything, you might as well just come back to your room to get them. I don't want to run into Aya. If you want to find her, head to the music room. She's definitely there. I know. You want me to go find her, don't you? Okay, the game is very subtly hinting I should go talk to Aya. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, is Aya gonna die this time, or maybe she's the killer? I don't know. As soon as Ran opened the door to the music room, Aya, who'd been sitting on the piano bench, spoke up. Oh, my romantic nemesis has appeared. Come on, clearly Takei was the one who made the request to swap bedrooms with Yoruno. Aya put down her guitar and replied with a grin. I know, I'm just joking. Then, oh, what? Wait, what's going on? I accidentally pressed like autoplay or something. Okay, she put down her guitar, replied with a grin. I know, I'm just joking. Then pursing her lips, she made a hesitant inquiry. Niho? Oh, did she say anything? Looks like Toyama really wants to make up with Takei more than Takei herself does. She told me that you two originally weren't supposed to attend the same high school, but she didn't explain why you had your most recent fight exactly. It looks like you two had a serious argument. Oh, for sure. It was mega serious, and it was all Miho's fault, The kind of argument where both sides think the other side's fault. An incredibly commonplace and incredibly frustrating structure for domestic drama. Right after I made her complaint against Miho, though, her expression immediately softened. But the only reason I'm even daring to say something like that is because we're attending the same school. If we actually had to split up for 3 years, there's no way I would have been able to endure it. I'll probably go with my tail between my legs to Miho and pitifully ask for her forgiveness in a day or two. She's not like me though. Miho excels at everything. Even without me, she can manage her emotions all by herself and live her own life perfectly well. So if she said she was never going to talk to me again, she'd actually be capable of carrying through with the threat. There's no way I could bear it, though. I understand how you feel. If Miss Sakura was angry with me, I'd do anything I could to make up with her as well. Though I've never had an argument with Miss Sakura before. Okay, that's weird if they've been together for years and no arguments. Are you here just to show off, Ranchan? Ran sat down on the piano bench next to Aya and patted her shoulders. So Toyama is the disadvantaged side of this relationship then. Makes me sympathetic to her plight. So just what was the cause of your argument anyways? If you want to compare Take with Miss Sakura, then I'm on your side here. Why don't you tell me about it? No way. Miho was way smarter than me, but she didn't tell you why we fought either, right? Miho was. So she didn't tell you, I can't tell you either. She surely has her own reasons for it. But I guess if I were in her shoes, I might do the same, holding Miss Sakura's once as paramount no matter when or where. Well, okay, but what are you going to do about it then? Just let it play out on its own? It was Aya's turn to pat Ran's shoulders this time. That's a problem for me and Miho. I'm sure you've got lots of other things to worry about, don't you, Ranchan? Compared to us, your own problems are more important. You are absolutely correct. I don't need to concern myself with their relationship issues. I should concentrate all my efforts on Miss Sakura's situation. But helping them resolve this situation might very well allow me to unlock my memories pertaining to the two of them, just like with Asakura. What's up with you now? Ran shook her head and got up, preparing to leave the music room. All I can do is let nature take its course. Both of them are resisting outside interventions, and even if I wanted to do something to help, I don't even have a point of entry to the problem. She stood by the door and waved goodbye to Aya, who answered her with a strum of her guitar. And Miss Sakura is here too. Let's discuss it with her before I make any decisions. Okay. Tama, Koizumi, Yoruno. I guess I'm curious to see how Tama feels now after, her resurrection and stuff. Indo. A handful of books were stacked neatly atop of one of the library's tables. Tama Indo had been engrossed in one of them, but when she heard the sound of Ran's voice, she immediately raised her head, a smile filling her face. I hope I'm not interrupting you. Oh no, Ibuki-san, I was just about to take a break. It's the first time I've seen you in the library by yourself. Ran sat down next to Tama and saw that she had opened the notebook in front of herself and seemed to be writing something in it. This must be what Asakura meant by Indo's new project. I feel like I've realized many things since I've talked to Asakura-san. I used to think that following Asakura around everywhere would be the best for her, but now I've come to understand that maybe the best thing for us is to spend some time by ourselves, right? I mean, I don't think that's the real issue. Asakura would like nothing more than to swaddle the two of you up all nice and tied together in the same blanket each night, right? Is that so? Tama blinked her big eyes again. I do sleep together with Asakura-san frequently. Asakura, are you an actual criminal? What does she mean? So you think that spending some time apart from her might result in a change to your relationship? That's right. Plus, I want to write down some things to show Asakura-san. I have a lot of things I want to tell her. Well, okay, so long as I can confirm you're not going to do anything to me. Even if you can't be as close with Asakura as you used to be before, I still think that everything worked out for the better in the end. At least now Asakura is willing to speak her true feelings to you now. Only from now on can the relationship between you two start to make proper progress. Ron felt like she was talking too much, so she reached out and gave Indo's hairbun a poke to try to alleviate the awkwardness. I understand, Ibuki-san. Thank you. No need to thank me after all. Tama cocked her head in confusion, waiting for Ran to finish speaking. Ran thought to herself about her memories of Asakura and her knowledge of the original time period from which Indo hailed, and decided to give up on the cliche she was about to speak, choosing something else instead. Yeah, because supposedly, what's her name? Tama is from like 100 years ago. After all, these are all choices you made for yourselves. Ran strolled idly through the school courtyard as she sent a text to Anne with her phone. Let's save. The phone auto-completed with Anne after she input the characters for Sakura, and the screen presented her with a prompt to call Sakura Anne in her contact list. Just as Ran was about to press the call button, a text message appeared at the top of the screen. Ran, do you have time? Come to the observation deck of the dome. I want to talk to you about the situation with Koizumi and Makoto. Ran immediately sent Anne back an affirmative response. Miss Sakura truly understands my soul in the way that only a soulmate can. Let's go see her immediately. Ran. Miss Sakura. Anne did what she always did when she saw Anne. She quickly stepped up to her and embraced her before taking her hand. Where have you been this afternoon? I haven't seen you around the campus at all. I was thinking about the things you told me. Anne took Ran and led her to the viewing deck's bench where they sat down together. Miss Sakura's being so proactive today. What you told me about those memories, I believe they're all real. Perhaps the others are all similarly tied to you in some nebulous way. And as only the two of us seem to be suffering from amnesia, perhaps I can regain my memories by doing what you've been doing. Ran held her hand tightly and rubbed her fingers repeatedly. She hesitated about whether to speak or not. But Miss Sakura, the two of us differ significantly as well. The memories I'm missing all seem to be directly related to the other students here. Whereas you've forgotten practically everything, right? Miss Sakura, I feel like it'd be very difficult to regain all of your memories just through the people currently here. And noticing that Ran's hands were trembling slightly, interwove her own fingers with Ran's to still them. It's no matter, I was just thinking that I'd give it my best try, since you're really hopeful about me recovering my memories. If it doesn't work, we can try something else. Miss Sakura, I know that. No, never mind. Miss Sakura has been expressing expressing with various degrees of subtlety that she doesn't want to recover her memories, since for the current Miss Sakura, such a thing would more or less be equivalent to dying, huh? There's something else important though. The process by which I've been recovering memories is clearly not conventional. That's why I think it's very likely that there's some conscious entity that's caused me to lose my memories, and that I recovered those memories by meeting certain conditions relating to those memories. Something conscious? So you're saying that our memory loss might have been caused by someone? Yes, the thing that brought us here could also very well be that conscious entity that's caused our memory loss. So you want to find it? It'd probably be difficult. It was capable of bringing me here while avoiding my detection, and also capable of hiding from us all the way up to the present. It's not like I'll be able to find it unless it actively appears before me. So I guess it's the weird thing we see during the night with the big eye and stuff. But what I have to do after this is quite clear. There must be some sort of meaning to recovering everyone's memories, or else there'll be no point to putting all these people connected to me in this place. Well, we got plenty of time ahead of us. Let's take it slow and see where we end up. Maybe I'll be able to remember something as well during the process. After all, my relationship with you is quite special, so maybe the people connected to you will also turn out to be familiar to me as well. That's true. That's a major possibility. After all, you were practically the only person that I had a positive relationship with back then, Miss Sakura. Yeah, what does Sakura see in her? Because she was a creepy loser, and looked like she didn't quite know how to respond to that. After an awkward moment, she spoke again. Ran, have you considered the situation where I never managed to recover my memories? Of course I have, but I'm never giving up no matter what. After all, it only took me 4 years to find you. In order to be able to return to the life I had with you, Miss Sakura, I'm willing to try anything. After Ran finished speaking, Anne seemed clearly somewhat cowed and didn't reopen her mouth. At that point, Ran's phone vibrated. After indicating her intent to Anne, she picked up the phone. Koizumi-sensei? Ran pressed the answer key. She had apparently interrupted Koizumi in the middle of taking a deep breath, resulting in Koizumi starting to cough uncontrollably. Is everything fine, Koizumi? Hearing Ran speak Koizumi's name, Anne looked up at Ran. No, everything's fine, Ibuki-san. So what is it? Could you come to the dormitory building entrance after dinner? There's something important I want to tell you. Can't you just tell me over the phone? Oh, no. There's something I need to give you as well. A stab. Okay, I guess this is a big decision. But yeah, sure. Like, why wouldn't I? Is she gonna kill us, or will she get killed if we meet her? I don't know. Ran furrowed her eyebrows. She wondered why Koizumi couldn't just hand whatever the thing was over immediately, rather than make her wait. But Ran supposed that it'd be too pushy a demand to make of Koizumi. If at all possible, she wanted to be gentle with Koizumi. Alright, see you then. Okay, see you then, Ibuki-san. Hinata invited you to meet up? Yeah, now that I remember how she took care of me before as a teacher, I don't know how to face the current her. Miss Sakura, what should I do? Can I make up for my mistakes with Koizumi-sensei, with the present Koizumi? Anne herself wished she had an answer for the hard-boiled question that Ran had just tossed at her. I think that Koizumi is very easy to talk to. I'm sure you don't need to feel any pressure at all, Ran. It looks like Koizumi-sensei didn't tell Miss Sakura about the whole confession thing. Ah, yeah, they are roommates, right? Yeah. Okay, I'll try that, I guess. Then that'll be it for now. I've got my language class tomorrow. I'd like to head back and prepare for it. Okay, see you at the dinner in a bit then, Miss Sakura. Tonight's dinner was much less lively than usual. Though Miho and I still sat next to each other, both of them were simply mechanically shoving food into their mouths with their heads lowered. On the other side of the table, Asakura and Tama sat together as well, with Tama occasionally glancing at Asakura. They remained silent as well, however, and Tama was conspicuously not serving food to Asakura as she'd done at previous dinners. Ran made the occasional bit of chit chat with Anne, but due to the atmosphere at the dinner table, they couldn't exactly have free conversation either. At least Koizumi looked the way she always did, eating slowly and methodically. Ran couldn't see anything out of the ordinary with her, and she had no idea what Koizumi was planning on getting up to after dinner. Maybe I'll take another stroll after dinner. Miss Sakura's preparing her lesson, so I probably shouldn't disturb her. Ran turned her gaze and saw that even Sai seemed to be in a low mood. What even? She's in a funk? Whatever, I guess I should prepare myself mentally. Who was it? Sai, okay, yeah. I was like, I blanked out on what the name was. Who knows what Koizumi sensei is going to say to me in a bit? Ah, yeah, we're gonna meet her now. By the light of the dormitory building. It's like, you know, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. By the light of the dormitory building, I have the power. Okay, Ran could see Koizumi standing a little distance away from the door. This made it so that she couldn't see the expression on Koizumi's face. It's a bit cold out. Let's talk quickly and get back inside. That was what Ran thought as she quickly stepped to Koizumi's side. Koizumi. Ibuki-san, sorry for troubling you with a meeting like this. It's fine, so what did you want to give me? I want to apologize to you first, Ibuki-san. I made a lot of trouble for you these past few days. Koizumi made a deep bow towards Ran. What do you mean, made a lot of trouble? Why this all of a sudden? Despite her answer, Ran had already guessed what Koizumi was planning to say when she heard Koizumi's words. It gave her a sense of relief. I've been too self-absorbed while I've been with you. I've disregarded the relationship between you and Sakura-san, ignoring your own will in these matters. But Koizumi's sensei was only showing her concern for me. I owe her more than she does me. Had I even said a single thing in her defense after Koizumi sensei left the school, or if I'd been able to give a more useful suggestion to her while we were speaking in private? Very well, let's conclude this whole affair here then. In a way, the decision to give up on pursuing me is also a decision you made on your own as well. Koizumi stared with her eyes, not expecting Ran to finish her sentence for her. You really are smart, Ibuki-san, but there's still one last thing I'd like to give you. One more thing. What could it possibly be? I honestly have no idea. Whether I'm going to rely on Ibuki-san to transform myself or not, I'm truly fallen for you. I'm sorry. Koizumi raised her head and took a step forward and pulled Ran by her shoulders towards herself. Wait. Oh. Before Ran could finish the rest of her sentence, Koizumi's lips had already touched themselves to her. Ran immediately raised her hands to push Koizumi away. Oh, so naughty. Saucy. But when Ran's hands reached Koizumi's shoulders, she found that she couldn't make herself actually apply any force. Instead, she gently embraced Koizumi. Ooh. I guess we can leave it like this for now, Koizumi-sensei. She hoped that Koizumi would be able to gain some kind of resolve from this, something to sustain the path she would take in her future life, though with the way that things were now, what meaning did that have? Ran could feel Koizumi's lips trembling, so she gently pushed against her shoulders. Not enough. Something just like this isn't enough. This isn't enough to help Koizumi-sensei, not by itself. There's got to be something else I can say to her. I'm sorry. Koizumi wiped her tears as she tried to turn and flee, but Ran instantly seized her by the wrist. Ibuki-san? Koizumi, it can't end like this. You can't solve your problems just like this. But I don't know how to help you. I only became how I am now thanks to Miss Sakura's help. I could become the person I wanted to be only because I had the person I loved by my side. Ran blinked her eyes furiously, trying not to let the tears spill. I can't become the person who can help you change because I don't have the kind of power, but so you should. Ran's words gradually became incoherent. She was furiously trying to imagine what Aunt Sakura would say in a situation like this, but she couldn't come up with anything. My starting point here is myself, not Koizumi-sensei, and that's why I don't actually know how to help her. She is not merely helpless and passive, but rather there's a fundamental meaning to existence that she is missing. That's why she doesn't have the strength to reject the demands that others make of her. But the me from before could never have thought of these things. The me of the present no longer has the opportunity to help her. I understand, Ibuki-san. From Koizumi's perspective, Ran was sincerely worrying that she couldn't follow through on her initial surge of determination, so she turned around and held Ran's hand. You've already helped me more than enough. I'm truly glad I fell for you, and just a little jealous of Sakura-san now. Smiling, she slowly released Ran's hands. No, I'm just trying to say something that can help you because I'm feeling guilty. It's all for me, not for you. Koizumi, I'm not as great as you're making me out to be. Koizumi wiped the tears from the corners of Ran's eyes and shook her head. Then just treat it all as the fanciful whims of a love-struck girl, I suppose, Ibuki-san. You don't need to worry about doing anything for me anymore. It's getting cold outside. Let's go back inside, okay? Okay. Why make me encounter something like this again? Just so I can experience being helpless to do anything for Koizumi-sensei a second time? Or is this a way of saying that if I change Koizumi-sensei here, then her in the outside world will change accordingly as well? Good question. Ran and Koizumi returned to the dormitory as Ran raised her head and saw the stars brighten in the night sky. Ran decided to abandon the naive thoughts she was holding on to in her heart. I'm just wondering about the outside world because, for everybody here, it seems to be perfectly normal to be lesbian or something like, is this like an alternative universe, or like are all the men dead, or how does this work? Ooh, new recall point. Let's wander around the dorm for a bit before showering. Downstairs, Yaru Toyama, Take, Ibuki. Okay, let's go downstairs. What do we have here? Kitchen. Okay. Let's go to the kitchen then. Sayorono stood next to the kitchen sink preparing ingredients for the next day's meals. It seemed there was a lot, the whole kitchen counter was occupied. What's with all this stuff? Everyone looked like they were in a bad mood at dinner today. I'm going to make some more nutritious food tomorrow. Maybe cheer them up a bit. Cheer them up. Jujija. So that's why she looked frustrated at dinner today. Why does Yorono have to be such a great person? Want me to help out? No offense, but with how long it took you to make those meat skewers, I doubt you'd actually be able to help much. Ran took a glance at her. Sai was wearing gloves and working on processing a bunch of vegetables which Ran couldn't even name. At the moment, she seemed to be picking away some of the wilted bits. Well, I could help you wipe the table or something then. Sai nodded without turning around. Looking at Sai busying herself with the mountain of work in front of her, Ran couldn't help but want to say something to her. Hmm. It's very requires lots of charisma to say, I really like your cooking. Jorun, I really like your cooking. It used to be that I didn't particularly care a lot about eating, but recently I've really been looking to our meals. It should be looking forward to our meals. That's so. As I didn't turn around as she spoke, but anyone could tell that she sounded quite pleased. My little sister was just like you. She liked my cooking a lot as well. Really, I only started learning how to cook for her. There was a period of time when she only wanted to eat food that I made, for whatever reason, so I did my best to learn a lot of recipes so that she could enjoy her meals better. I updated her profile. Oh, you're a Sisukon. You know what? You're right. I got a sister complex. So what? I haven't been able to see her since I came here. I wonder how she's doing. So I seemed a little downcast thinking about her little sister, and Ran didn't like seeing Sai that way. In Ran's perspective, Sai Yoruna was someone who oughtn't have that kind of look on her face. What if Ran is actually Sai's little sister, like we just forgotten about it or something? I'm sure she is waiting for her big sister to come home and make her plenty of tasty things to eat. Sai smiled as she turned around. Ran thought that was an expression that suited Sai's face much better. You're right, Ibuki. You're right. Okay. We're back up here again. Well, there's nothing downstairs, so I guess it's either Toyama or Take. Hmm. Let's go here. Ron opened the door and saw Miho hastily shove a book into the desk drawer. After hastily snapping the drawer shut, she brushed a tuft of her hair behind her ear and showed Ran a smile. What is it, Ibuki-san? Ran looked at the entirely empty table in front of her. Nothing. Shall we go to the shower, then? I believe it's about time. Huh? Okay. The Merck Manual of Diagnosis and Therapy. Investigation 5 check passed. Okay, let's try this. Why have you suddenly started reading the Merck Manual? Miho hesitated before giving Ran a small smile and answering easily. I'm the school nurse after all. I always need to keep myself on top of knowledge related to my job. Or is she planning a murder? Ran narrowed her eyes a bit as she nodded. Uh, in a moment, so is there still something else we can do? Maybe in a bit I'll come find you when it's time to go. After saying so, Ran left the room. So, okay, we still have one. Let's check if there's anything else downstairs. Yeah, so I guess we can do pretty much everything then. Let's go talk to Toyama. From Aya's room, Ran could hear the sounds of a guitar being plucked at. The notes started and stopped intermittently and didn't seem to form a complete tune at all. You can tell she's in a terrible mood just by listening. She knocked on the door after receiving a response, entered the room. Oh, my romantic rival, and here I thought that it was Miho here to tell me to stop making a racket. Aya pressed down on the guitar strings to mute them and greeted Ran with a smile. Don't tease me. So, is there anything you need? Aya set the guitar aside by the wall as she spoke. Nothing, I heard the sound so I came to check it out. Don't tell me you're here to take pity on me, are ya? Dang, busted. Of course not, I'm just passing by. Then please leave me alone, if you'd be so kind. Aya made a theatrical show of slowly reaching for her guitar, so that I can continue to occupy myself by playing tragic breakup songs. You're so sad about it, then you should. If you're so sad about it, then you should hurry up and make up with Take already. Absolutely not. I can't make concessions about this, at least not while we're still in the same place. This matter is very important to me, you know. Smiling, Aya pointed two fingers at Ran. Just like how Anne is important to you. Aya stretched her legs out straight, repeatedly tapping the tips of her toes together. Ran discovered that she apparently enjoyed this action greatly. I've already been with her for 14 years, and that's just the beginning. I'm sure that Miho will be the most important person in my life. 14 years? How old is she? Like 16, 18, something like that? So they've known each other since they were basically babies or something, toddlers. She really is a lot like me. That makes me wanna help them reconcile even more now. In a conflict between Toyama and Take, I'm sure I'd stand on Toyama's side. Well, if that's the case, then you better figure out how to make up with her quickly. I don't think I could stand to be apart from my beloved for more than a day. Aya nodded, flashing Ran a goofy smile. Hearing that from you is just so convincing. Ran turned and was about to take her leave when Aya stopped her. Ranchan, since you're already here, how about we shower together tonight? I wanted to chat with you a bit longer. Toyama doesn't want Take to shower with me, huh? Sure, I'll come find you once I've gotten ready. I don't want your relationship with Take to get any worse either. Aya smiled, her hands were mashed together in front of her. Oh, Ranchan, you're so. Why don't you focus your cleverness elsewhere? Well, what does that mean? It's about time. Let's go find Toyama. Okay, now we're gonna shower. Ran and Aya arrived at the bathroom. The baths were already full of hot water. Floor had also been thoroughly cleaned up, and even the chairs and toiletries had been arranged neatly. It didn't look as if anybody else had used the bathroom yet. We're not the first ones to wash, are we? Oh, that's Tama-chan. Chan. After she washes, she always does a bit of cleaning before she leaves. She does look like the kind of person who'd do that. Ran relaxed her body, letting herself slide almost completely into the water, and closed her eyes as she soaked in the warmth that now suffused her whole body. Aya, on the other hand, stretched lazily and let out a weird moan. Whenever it's time to take a bath, musical inspiration just pops right into my head. These past 2 days, I haven't been able to write a single note, even though I've been spending hours on end toying with my guitar in the music room. Maybe it's because there's not much else you can do in the bath, so it's easier to focus your attention. Ran shifted slightly in the bath, blinked, and glanced at Aya. Don't tell me you're trying to write Take a romantic song so that she'll forgive you or something. Ah ha ha, well, that's not it, though. That does sound the kind of romantic thing I would like to do, isn't it? But Miho isn't particularly interested in my music. Aya looked down as she spoke and watched her hands fiddle around with the water. I don't think I've had a chance to properly talk with Toyama about her music. Let's see if I can remember anything with a conversation on this topic. Let's change topics. I want to talk to you about something else. Ran hadn't even been able to open her mouth to keep asking about her music before Aya changed the direction of the conversation. When you were telling us all about the incident with Tama, I would never have expected it to have such a huge effect on Makoto. She's practically a whole different person now. And then Miho said she was going over to your room and you started showing up and talking to me about this and that. Do you enjoy being a mediator, like the kind who helps other people with their relationships or something? Don't be ridiculous. Honestly, dealing with the relationship of other people is the thing that I'm least competent with. Asakura had wanted to express her malcontent feelings for a long time. Indra's murder was just her snapping after she'd bottled herself up to her limit. I just, lesbian couples are supposedly prone to violence, and according to this game, even murder. I just happened to be there when it all blew up. And I have even less of a clue with you two. As far as I'm concerned, the best outcome would be if the two of you decided to hold hands all the way back to your room again, all on your own without me needing to lift a finger. Aya reached out and gave Ran a pat on the shoulder, seeming quite satisfied with the answer. Now that's the Ran I know, not concerned about anybody other than Anne. Ran couldn't help but raise an eyebrow after hearing that and shook her head. Isn't that a little exaggerated? You're right, if you didn't actually care about anybody but Anne, then you wouldn't be so nice to the class president either. Wait, what do you mean about Koizumi? Hehehe. Miho and I have long since noticed. Don't worry, we won't tell Anne. The two of you forget it. She and I aren't going any further anyways, so there's no need to bring it up again. See, I really think that your boundaries for the people that you're concerned about are quite different from what most people would expect. After Aya finished, she lifted herself out of the bath with both arms before Ran could have a chance to respond. But I suppose these things aren't all that important for you anyways. We should probably wrap up soon and head out. Miho doesn't like it when she has to shower late. Ran nodded and followed Aya out of the bath. You may say that you're in the middle of a fight, but every action you take shows your concern for Take. Aya shrugged, pulling open the bathroom door and answered Ran with a tilt of the head. Well, I'm the kind of person that's easy to push around after all. Does that mean that somebody's gonna kill her push her into, I don't know, like coal chute or something. After Ran and Aya left the bathroom, they heard the sound of flowing water from the kitchen. Two of them headed over in wordless agreement. Yoruno, you still preparing food? Sai seemed to have been startled by Ran's sudden words and spun around to answer. You people are all so quiet when you walk around. I swear, you scared the heck out of me. Just finished washing everything. Now I gotta prepare some of the more labor intensive stuff. There's 8 mouths to feed now, after all, so it's going to take a bit more time. It doesn't look half bad. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's lunch already. Toyama did the thought of giving Yoruna a hand not. Toyama, did the thought of giving Yoruno a hand not occur to you at all? Yeah. You two don't need to stand around watching. Get back to your room so I can handle it on my own. Alright, call me if you need any help. Sai waved her hand and went back to her work. It's so much easier just to kick back and relax with Sai around. Right? So you and Take should hurry up and stop making trouble for her. You're totally just saying that for your own sake. Smiling, Aya headed up the stairs with Ran. Each of them returned to their own rooms. As soon as as soon as Ran entered, Miho, who'd been sitting on the lower bunk, immediately rose. Did Aya say anything? I ought to have just made you two shower together. Both of you keep asking about each other, and I'm stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. What she asked? She asked if I enjoyed being a mediator. I said, of course not. Ran's answer seemed to cause Miho to hesitate, as if she had something to say but wasn't sure she should say it. She ultimately just nodded, grabbed her towel and pajamas, and left the room. The way these two are so concerned for each other, it makes me even more curious just what they fought over. Ran dove into bed and turned over to avoid the light. Maybe I'll ask again tomorrow. The next morning, Miho actively offered to help Ran sort out her hair, uh, which had gotten messy from sleeping, and even ironed her uniform for her. It made Ran start to understand how Makoto Asakura must have felt. Since it's a new day. New day is starting. New day is dawdling. Where did she even get an iron from? After the two of them left the room together, they found that the other students were blocking up the hallway and discussing something. Why do I feel like I've been in a situation like this before? Ran quickly walked to Anne's back. She walked to Anne's side and took hold of her arm. Good morning, Miss Sakura. What's everyone gathered here for? Good morning. Your hair's unusually neat this morning, Ran. Usually it's a bit messier. Yeah, so what's going on? Anne didn't immediately answer Ran. Her light breathing tickled Ran's heart. Hinata's dead. Oh, okay, that's nice. Like it's so, quickly and murder. And it's like, it's interesting because, when they were gathered, I thought, oh, maybe somebody's dead, but they were too nonchalant. She was like, oh, nice hair. But, this game is a bit twisted, which is nice. Ran's hands dropped free from Anne's arm. Even though she knew this was just another round of the killing game, the calmness in Anne's voice was still enough to make her heart skip half a beat. Mm. After that, an overwhelming flood of shame from her memories submerged her. She poked her head out of the swamp of shame as best she could, trying to catch a breath. Then she showed her way through the crowd of students forcefully until she came to its forefront. Koizumi. Ran stood on the second floor balcony and looked downwards. Hinata Koizumi was dangling dead in midair. I wonder if it's like they're trying to frame it as suicide or something. Last night, even after I grabbed Koizumi sensei, I still couldn't say a single useful word to her. Even if she said she'd already made a decision, that she'd already come to terms with our relationship, I knew that Koizumi sensei's problems couldn't be solved so easily. Last time she made her decision, she left the school, and this time she's left again via suicide. So it is suicide. Or is it? Why torment me and Koizumi sensei like this? For what reason was I even brought here? Ran took a deep breath. She didn't want her emotions to overrun all of her thinking. No, calm down. It's not certain to be suicide. It's also very possible that it's only been disguised as a suicide. Yeah, exactly. Well, it could be a suicide, but yeah, that's just my son shouting in the other room, and his mother is taking care of the kids. So don't worry. Like, I don't know how much you can hear because it is from the other room. Ran, what's wrong? Nothing. I was just thinking. Well, if it wasn't suicide, then the killer sure was a real dumbass this time around, committing the murder at the dorms. Everyone's paired up by the room, so if somebody was conspicuously absent, it should be quite easy to notice. And there could have been people moving about the dorms at any point. One mistake, and they'd been seen in the act. Up until we all went to bed last night. Koizumi was still alive. The window of time where the murder could have happened is very short. Hmm. Is it that short if it's, during the night? Like, let's say that somebody, maybe somebody poisoned, like, put some sleeping pills into the drink of their roommate so they wouldn't wake up, and then snuck out of the room during the night and somehow, I don't know, lured Koizumi out as well. Or, maybe they put some sleeping pills to everybody else except the victim and themselves to, make sure everybody slept tight. All we have to do is compare what we were all doing last night, and it should be pretty easy to start finding clues. Let's start by asking Anne then. And you're roommates with Hinata. You must have been the last to see her, right? Before Anne could answer, Sai interjected. The last to see Koizumi was probably me. I prepared food late into the night last night, and after Koizumi finished with her shower, I even saw her wave hello to me. Just Koizumi? Miss Sakura, you didn't shower with Koizumi yesterday? It makes me uncomfortable to even ask that. That's right. When I asked Hinata to come with me, she told me to go on ahead. She looked like she was in a poor mood, so I didn't force her to come with me. It was because of her meeting with me, wasn't it? In the end, it's still my fault. Koizumi didn't speak to me after I returned either. She waited until it was almost time to sleep before she went downstairs to shower. She even turned off the lights and told me to go to bed first. She said something along the lines that she might take a long time washing. I see. Well, it sure sounds like a lot like suicide. Has the class rep been down in the dumps lately? Ran could imagine countless reasons that Koizumi might have chosen to kill herself, most of them having to do with Ran. Let's first ask everyone when exactly they went to use the showers and use that to start building a timeline of last night's events. Yoruno, you washed first? Yep, I was gonna go with Toyama, but she washed with you, I think. And then after that was Asakura and Indo. I even had a short conversation with Toyama about how well Indo tidied up the bathroom. Thank you for your praise, Ibuki-san. And then it was me, and finally it was Hinata. Alright, let's write all that down and start investigating the corpse. We should wait to get Koizumi down until we are done gathering information. New recall point. Koizumi sensei, you wouldn't kill yourself, right? You wouldn't kill a car, not neck, hand, body, neck, chair. Okay, let's start with this. Aran climbed to the second floor and knelt on the floor, inspecting the rope tied to the railings closely. There are clear signs that the end was cut, so this rope must have been longer previously. If Koizumi sensei killed herself, then she should have taken the rope to the second floor, tossed the noose and down to the lower floor, then pulled the rope until the noose was at an appropriate height before tying the rope to the guardrail here. The excess length could be cut off after the knot was tied. Ran stood up and leaned over the guardrail, looking down at the lower floor. Aya gave Ran a cheerful wave. The other students were gathered in discussion and analysis around Koizumi's corpse. If it was homicide, the process would most likely have been the same, or maybe the killer carried Koizumi sensei's corpse to the second floor before putting the noose around her neck and throwing her over the railing. Ran gave the rope a hard rub, causing a fair amount of detritus to flake off. There were also plenty of fibers left over from around the railings. The rope seems quite old. A single touch caused a bunch of it to come off. Ran looked at the fibrous debris in her hand, deep in thought. Ran found herself a chair to stand on and craned her head to inspect Koizumi's neck. The rope had been tied tightly to her neck. There's almost no gap between the two. In a situation like this, both the ventral and dorsal sides of the neck ought to be prominently marked. Hmm. Ran poked a finger between the rope and Koizumi's neck to make a gap and was just barely able to see the skin underneath on the back of Koizumi's neck. As expected, the back side of the neck is also bruised. If the culprit used this rope to strangle Koizumi sensei before stringing her up, then they may have tied the noose this tightly to cover up the unnatural marks. but the messiness of the scrape markings make it hard to judge. All I can say for sure is that the marks were definitely made up by this rope, since the patterns much match each other perfectly. Okay, Ran approached the corpse and examined Koizumi's dangling hands. Though her nails were a bit long, they were manicured immaculately, and the tips of her fingers were clean. Doesn't seem like there's anything noteworthy. Temporary points have increased by one. Aha. Haha, I'm glad I raised my investigation. That's just enough. Wait, why are the fingers so clean? There's no sign of abrasion at all, not even any abnormalities with the fingernails. Yeah. Like, okay, I couldn't say any distinct reason, but for me too, it seemed a bit odd. Like, if you would be committing suicide like this, I think that probably, there should be some marks. But it's like, she hasn't used her hands at all after showering. Ran lifted Koizumi's hand and closely inspected it. What is it? When Anne saw that what Ran was doing, she approached as well. Looks like the probability of this being a homicide has just increased. Anne looked at Koizumi's hand and nodded, a light smile rising on her face. Koizumi was wearing a white sleeping gown. She must have changed into it after she washed. Ran noticed some detritus on her shoulder. Based on its color, it must have come from the rope that had been used to hang her. Miss Sakura, could you tell me what Koizumi was wearing before she went to wash? Her uniform. Ran nodded. Then the chair. A chair from the kitchen laid on the floor. Was whether the killer had put it there intentionally or Koizumi had kicked it over in the death throes of her suicide, it seemed there were no clues to be had from it. Ran circled the chair a few times and saw nothing noteworthy. Okay, so is that all? Can't look at her shoes or something, or I don't know, her nose. Guess that's everything. No marks here, no dirty footprints. Hmm. And that's about all I could get of the corpse. Ran shared the clues she'd found with the others. Then let's get Hinata down from there and take her to the morgue. We can also take her clothes off and check her body for any other signs of injury there. I'll carry her then. Her body's in pretty complete shape, so I don't think we need a body bag for this one. Yeah, I guess there's not many blood and guts. Sai gestured Asakura over to help her, and as Sai held Koizumi from below, Asakura got up on her tiptoes and used a fruit knife provided by Tama to cut Koizumi loose. Asakura got up on her tiptoes. Okay, yeah. Just I was thinking something else when I was reading, so I wasn't really registering it in my brain. As the rope broke, Koizumi's corpse landed into Sai's lap, who picked her up in a bridal carry. Besides Koizumi's lips looking rather cyanotic, she looked just like she'd fallen asleep, with her head gently resting on Sai's chest. Cyanotic is like blue or something, like, cyanide. Miss Sakura? I'd like to stay at the scene of the crime and see if there are any other clues. Ran nodded. I should figure out where I want to investigate as well. New recall point. So Sayoronan and Sakura Indo Tama. At least I do want to ask Sakura if she's the roommate, and also there's another person here. Have you found anything, Miss Sakura? Anne stood under the staircase looking up at the railing where the rope had originally been tied. I'm wondering where they got the rope. If it were me, I wouldn't even know where to find a rope that could be used to hang someone. Yeah, there's not a lot of everyday use for a rope that thick. There might be some in the tool shed, but you'd have to ask Asakura. The rest of us don't use the tool storage room very often. I'll go ask afterwards then. So how about some breakfast, Ibuki? So I suddenly startled Ran by popping out of the kitchen. Yoruno, you were here too? Always have been. Anyways, you want that breakfast or... Even though the image of Koizumi's death was still before Ran's eyes, in the end her hunger won out. Shall we have breakfast together, Miss Sakura? Sure, let's. They gathered in the kitchen this time, so I had prepared a Western style breakfast overall, though the meal was noticeably simpler than the previous day's offerings. Western style breakfast, let me guess, it's gonna be an omelette. You know, in the old days, it'd take a long time after the lots were drawn before a murder occurred. Lately, it just feels like they've been happening one after the other. Yeah, it's because, the player character is here. It's gonna be boring if we have to wait like a week between each murder. So I nodded and took a drink from her glass of milk. When she finished, she spoke. Yeah, we don't even have time to eat breakfast properly anymore. Feels like it only started getting this way after Ibugis showed up. Yeah, good observation. And Asakura's changed a lot too because of you. Even though she's kinda got an attitude these days, it feels like she's changing for the better. Don't be ridiculous. What's the increase in the frequency of the cases got to do with me? Ran quickly finished off the rest of her breakfast and put her plate into the sink. Got some breakfast in me. Time to get back to the investigation. We should get some, brain power plus one. Let's solve this case ASAP. I want to speak with Koizumi sensei with some more. So, Tama Indo, Miho Take, Makoto Asakura, Ayatoyama. I really don't have any suspects right now. Hmm. I'm just thinking, imagining in my mind that, somebody had to, tie the rope around, like if it was murder, tie the rope around her neck and then push her over the guardrail. So I guess that requires some strength, or well, maybe if she's unconscious, you can, sort of lift her, but wouldn't that be a bit noisy? So I'm not sure how far the stairs are from the dorm rooms and stuff, but it sounds like it's gonna be noisy. So I do wonder, if the killer um, dropped a Mickey in everybody's drink or something. Maybe this one. After Ran entered the morgue, she found that Asakura was also there. This is the morgue, okay. You're here as well, Asakura. It's like you've swapped places with Yoruna. Ran reached out and gave Asakura a pat on the shoulder and continued. Miss Sakura, Miss Sakura and I were discussing the issue of the rope just now. Is there a rope in the tool shed and the tool storage key? Do you keep it on your person at all times? Could it have been stolen? Asakura tilted her head and blinked. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check, but there definitely are ropes in the tool storage room. Ran nodded and turned her attention towards Miho. Take, what's the situation with the corpse? Ran approached the bed where Koizumi had already been changed into a hospital gown. Besides the neck, there are no signs of any other external injuries. It probably was just the strangling that did the job. Can't believe that someone other than myself chose to commit suicide. Is it suicide? That's a terrible joke. Asakura, on the other hand, grinned at her own wisecrack. Still, Asakura, it seems like you've been much more motivated than usual. Rare to see you proactively investigating an incident like this. It's all cause of you, you know. Asakura leaned down and brought her face quite close to Ran's. Thanks to you, Indo's not even giving me the time of day, so all I can really do is come out and try to have some fun on my own. Well, you do seem to be enjoying yourself. Let's not tell her about how Indo has spent all this alone time writing letters to her just yet. Indo has things she wants to do too, after all. Asakura nodded and set aside her smile, letting her gaze wander away from Ran. Yeah, she has things she wants to do now. It's wonderful. Ran heard a sense of warmth that she'd never heard from Asakura before. That warmth directed at Tama Indo touched Ran's heart as well. If only Asakura could have met someone like Indo in reality as well. Yeah, the problems between me and Indo are basically settled now. How about you? Me? What about me? Oh, you mean the situation with me and Anne? Well, yeah, who else? You've got her super worked up and anxious these days, and it looks like you're the only one who can't tell. Excuse me, I know far better than any of you how best to talk to Miss Sakura. And Miss Sakura would never get anxious in the first place, ever. Yeah, I get it. The Miss Sakura, is some kind of incredible hyper competent goddess, but her here is far more emotionally sensitive than you seem to understand. Seriously, you shouldn't push her as much as you're doing. Just try and find a different way to get along with her. Ran understood how Asakura was able to come to this conclusion. She tried changing the way she interacted with Anne before too. But she really didn't want other people to make suggestions about how her and Anne's relationship ought to change, even if the suggestion was probably for the better. This is a matter between me and Miss Sakura. Don't interfere. After she said those words, Ran turned and left immediately. It was. What? Did I press something? Okay, after she said those words, Ran turned and left immediately. It was clear that by her demeanor, though, that Ran lacked confidence in her own words, and Asakura couldn't help but smile as she watched Ran leave. Ran arrived at the classroom. Nobody was present except for her at the moment. She headed right to Anne's desk and sat down at her seat. Then she laid down on the desk and took a deep inhalation. Nope, smells nothing like her, damn it. The case this time doesn't seem to be at all complex. Doesn't seem to be all that complex at all. Seems like it should be easy to reach the truth. Famous last words. Ran raised her head, supporting it with one arm as she looked towards the blank blackboard. Though it also feels like there's not really any clues. Maybe I should see if there's any recall points on the notebook. All right, let's begin the recall. Okay. Uh, let's do the special. So after showering, meeting with Yoruno, who was still preparing food, there's no doubt that Koizumi was killed in the dorms deep in the night. Ran decided to remain near the scene of the crime during this time, hoping to be able to find some valuable clues. Clues? What kind of weird recall point is this? What's the point of it? Let's give it a shot, I guess. After Ran and I left the bathroom, they heard the sound of flowing water in the kitchen. From the kitchen, the two of them headed over in a wordless agreement. Yeah, when it mentioned the flowing water, I thought like, is somebody dead already? Like it was a bit sus. Yoruno, are you still preparing food? So I seem to have been startled by Ran's sudden words. Spun around to answer. Oh yeah, Yoruno said she was the last. She might have been the last one to see um, Koizumi alive. Maybe she's this another time. Maybe Koizumi was dead. No, we haven't asked Sakura yet. Like have we? Like, did she see Koizumi come to their room, or was she already asleep when the victim went to sleep or something? Anyways, you people are also quiet when you walk around. I swear you scared the heck out of me. Just finish washing everything. Yeah, 8 months to feed. Yeah, we've just seen this before. Doesn't look half bad. We're looking forward to lunch. Yeah, not helping. Yeah. All right, call me if you need help. Okay, she went back to work. It's so much easier to just kick back and relax with Sai around. Right, so you and Take should hurry up and stop making trouble for her. You're totally just saying that for your own sake. Smiling, Aya headed up the stairs with Ran. Each of them returned to their own rooms. But after Aya shut her door, Ran returned to the hallway again. What am I up to now? Ran quietly tiptoed down the stairs and arrived at the kitchen. This time, Sai noticed her. What is it? Look, I can at least help with washing the vegetables. Let me help. Oh, how helpful of you, kid. Sai rummaged around the drawers underneath the sink for a while until she dug out a pair of plastic gloves. Wear these while you're working so you don't hurt your hands. Thanks. Ram put on the gloves, started washing the vegetables awkwardly. Sai had to give instructions to her from time to time. Yoruno-san, Ibuki-san. Miho had finished showering and come to the kitchen as well. She was clearly avoiding direct contact with Ran and stayed on Sai's side of the kitchen. Need me to help out? Sure, we are out of gloves though. That's fine. Maybe adding gloves key because the victim's hands were very clean and stuff. Like, did she use some gloves to protect her hands while committing suicide or something? With the three of them working together, they washed off the whole mountain of raw ingredients quickly. After that, they cleaned up the kitchen and had a few more words of conversation before heading up the stairs as a group to return to each of their own rooms. Just then, Asakura left her room and headed down the stairs. Oh hey, the three of you all in the same place, what a party. Asakura, where are you going so late at night? Nowhere, just going out for a breather. Been kind of awkward with Indo lately, so I decided I'd opt out for a bit of avoidance. Oh, really? Yesterday, when I saw you two together in your room, it seemed like you two were getting along great. Asakura smiled and waved her hand lazily, passing the three girls and exiting the dormitory building without answering sight. So Asakura went down the stairs yesterday. I didn't hear her mention it though. After Asakura left, the three of them went upstairs, returned to their own rooms. It ends here, and here I thought the point of this recall point was to allow me to see Koizumi Sensei again. But I didn't even run into her going downstairs to shower at all. Not to mention, it's weird that we ran into Asakura. Now I've got even more questions. Did she even shower? Like the victim Koizumi? Okay, let's go here. While investigating Koizumi's body in dormitory. Uh, so this is just investigating the body. I don't think there's really any. I guess I'm gonna check, but because there was the one clue we might have missed, the hands, but I used. I guess I can try this. Nothing stands out. There's nothing special here. Let's look something else here. There's nothing special here. Fake behind the fear. Exploration detail. After Koizumi's corpse was found while investigating the campus. After concluding the investigation of Koizumi Hinata's body, each of the students headed out on their own in order to find clues. Ran stepped forward as well. Uh-huh. Okay, let's go here. Indo's probably not paying much attention to the case at all right now. Let's go visit her. As soon as Ran entered the library, Tama set down the pen in her hand, raised her head, and called Ran's name out. Ibuki-san! You sure look lively, Indo. You don't seem at all like someone who was a corpse just a day ago. Ibuki-san, don't you know by now if someone is revived after dying, they'll go right back to being perfectly healthy? Are my jokes that hard to understand? Yeah, you're right. Ran took a seat next to Tama. Are you doing homework? Oh no, I'm writing some things for Sakura-san to see later. There's lots of things I want to tell her. Wait, didn't we have this conversation? Ran nodded. She felt like his method of communication suited Tama and Asakura quite well. I feel a bit bad about not helping Koizumi-san. She's been killed and all. Tama looked down at her pen and paper in front of her. But right now I've focused all my heart and soul on this task and I don't have any attention left to spare on other things. That's fine, I'm sure Koizumi will understand. Ran's gaze passed over Tama's unprotected letter to the open book next to it. She reached out and checked the title of the book. It was Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground. Notes from Underground. Indo, you're reading something like this? Ran knew exactly what kind of book Notes from the Underground was. She'd gone through a period when she was quite interested in reading similarly heavy works about philosophical discourse. I don't really know what the book is about. I haven't read it in Dostoevsky. But comparing that book to the impression that Tama Indo left on people, it was like the difference between bitter mocha and strawberry milk. Strawberry milk. Yes, that's right. I'm not referring to the content in the book for my letter to Asakura-san. Rather, I just think that the writing itself is incredible. All the thoughts and feelings are expressed in ways that can truly move one's heart. That which I write for Asakura-san ought to be something exactly like that. Tama's words left Ran utterly confounded. Thank goodness the young mistress taught me to read and write, otherwise I wouldn't be able to convey all the things I want to say to Asakura-san now. Before, when I recalled my memories about Koizumi sensei and Asakura, it was because the things they said or the actions they took intersected with my memories of them. Which is to say, the more they talk about themselves, the more likely it is that they'll cause me to regain some of my lost memories. So let's try asking Indo a few more questions, a few more things. I'm pretty curious about how exactly it's possible for me to be interacting with a person from the Taisho era myself. Good question. Indo, your young mistress, what was her name? Could you tell me her full name if you don't mind? Of course, her name was Yanagiwara Shirahana. Is it like a famous person? I have no idea. After hearing that name, Ran felt her brain had taken a blow, but the effect only lasted a short while. I feel like I've heard that name, Yanagiwara Shirahana, somewhere before. But why didn't it cause a full-on flood of memories? Am I still missing something? Maybe it's like her grandmother or something, or the head mistress of her school or something. At the time, I didn't know why the young mistress spent so much effort teaching me my letters, but now I truly understand and appreciate what she did for me. Ran just sort of nodded along. All she wanted to do right now was figure out the significance of this Yanagiwara person's name. Indo, could you tell me a bit more about your young mistress? Of course, but could we do so later? Right now, I really want to concentrate on this letter. Oh, sure, sure. Then until next time. Ran rose and Tama stood up as well. After she accompanied Ran all the way to the door, she lightly bowed before closing the library door. Okay, this is investigated. Okay, this is investigated. I was wondering, like, because I did go here, but it's just, I guess there's not enough space unless I highlight it. So yeah, now there's only one place undone. Toyama. Well, yeah, the changing of the rooms between Toyama and Take, it might be related to the murder, like to make the killing of their victim easier. And oh yeah, Toyama did sort of drop the victim card that she had, so maybe she is the killer. Anyways, I'm a bit worried about Toyama's state of mind. Let's go check up on her. Well, look who's got all this free time on her hands. Aren't you going to go look for the killer? Aya was sitting on the bench of the piano. When she saw Ran enter, she set her guitar down and invited Ran to sit by patting the empty spot next to her on the bench. Why bother? It's clearly a suicide and I don't really feel like investigating. So, whatever. Ran went ahead and plopped herself down on the piano bench. The bench wasn't very long, leaving the two of them pressed close together. I guess, so you're still not going to tell me why you and Take had an argument? Nope, I'm not. Looks like forcing it isn't going to work. Let's talk about something else first. Ran took a glance at the crest sewn onto Aya's jacket and poked it a few times. I never got a chance to ask before this. Did you sew this on yourself? Yep. Aya proudly pulled at her jacket, displaying the crest. I bet you didn't expect that kind of craftsmanship out of me. I embroidered the crest and sewed it on the jacket myself. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought for sure it was Takei's handiwork. Ahaha, no way. Miho couldn't pull off something like this. Aya raised her head and tapped her neck choker. The starry decoration glittered. She brought this for me as a present. Don't you think she is such a perv? How the hell am I supposed to answer that question? So how come she bought something like that? Because I started a band with some friends. I got a bunch of my buds who also like Led Zeppelin together, and we started rock and roll band. Rock and roll. This embroidered crest is the symbol of our band. I made one for each of us. Okay. Oh, that sounds impressive. I'm not super familiar with British rock and roll from the 70s, but you sure seem pretty familiar with it, if you could name that much. Aya gave Ran's shoulder a bump. Led Zeppelin, reminds me of that incident I ran into a while I was using the ticket of the Observer. That one gave me a real scare. I encountered a concert performance once back when I was using ticket too. Shame that I can't use it anymore. Okay, I cannot check the book because I'm in recall. Okay, total recall, man. I should try to remember the Observer ticket. Check it out. Though Miho didn't like the band much. Was that why the two of you fought? Is Ranchan trying to trick me into talking? Unfortunately, it was completely unrelated. Aya gently stroked the choker on her neck, showing a rare expression of vulnerability. Even though she didn't like the band much, Miho still supported me anyway. She attended every concert we held. The thing on my neck's because she thought that all rock and rollers wore weird jewelry anyways, and she didn't want me to lose to anyone else on that front. Ran nodded. I can understand Takei's way of thinking. These two have such a strong relationship. I really don't know why they've gotten in such a bad fight. Honestly, I'm personally not into flashy things like this, but she brought it for me, so I've definitely gotta wear it proudly. And it's fun to parade around too. Hehehe. You like Takei that much, huh? Of course, she's my favorite person in the world. The more Miho and Aya flaunted their mutual affection, the more confused Ran was about why they'd even fight in the first place. Honestly, I'm starting to think that the topic of their fight was over something completely trivial at this point. Yeah, that's how it looks like. Alright, I'm going to keep investigating now. Try not to slack off too hard. Excuse me, I'm not slacking off. I'm hard at work composing new songs. Ran could only shrug at that and left the music room. What is branch recall? Yeah, because okay, if I refuse to speak with Koizumi, I wonder what's gonna happen. Ran had originally wanted to agree to Koizumi's request, but after she opened her mouth, she clamped her teeth tight again and only managed to spit a few words out. Uh, I'm sorry, I'd rather not. Only the light sound of breathing came from the other end of the phone, followed by Koizumi's response in a cheerful voice. It's okay, sorry for bothering you, Ibuki-san. After Ran hung up and closed in immediately. What did Hinata say? She said she wanted to meet up with me after dinner, but as soon as I think about what happened between me and her in the past, I start feeling like I don't know how I can possibly face her. Miss Sakura, what should I do? Can I make up for my mistakes with Koizumi sensei with the present Koizumi? Anne herself wished she had an answer for the hardball question that Ran had just tossed at her. You don't need to rush. There's still plenty of time. Or is there? Ran nodded. Whether it was right or wrong, it was Anne's suggestion, and that alone was enough to let her trust in it without hesitation. Okay, I'll try that, I guess. Then that'll be it for now. I got my language class tomorrow and like to head back and prepare for it. Okay, see you at dinner in a bit then, Miss Sakura. So that really made no difference. I guess that's all the recall stuff then. Oh wait, there's this too. So, after drawing lots while investigating campus. Let's between Miho and Aya, blah blah. Okay, let's just see if there's some locations we haven't investigated. I guess there are. Yeah, Sai Yoruna. Though I don't know if these are gonna give any clues to the murder or anything, since well, I guess they could be, planning the murder, and we can sort of caught them in the act or something, like when they're preparing the murder weapon or something. Yoruna's come to take a dip on her own again. Nothing to do about it but keep her company, I guess. Ran sat by the poolside and watched as Sai swam to the other end, leaving ripples in the wake of her bath that broke the water's stillness. After reaching the end, Sai spun in the water, kick-flipped off the walls of the pool and swam back towards Ran. Oh, that's the first time I've seen that kind of move outside of television, and here I figured you'd just use this pool as a glorified bathtub, Yoruna. You could afford to be more direct with your praise. Sai hung on to the side of the pool with one hand, pulling her hair back with the other. Ooh, they made a special image for this. Seriously, do you really have nothing better to do, though? You keep coming to watch me swim. Well, do you really have nothing better to do then? Wait, what? You keep coming here to swim. Okay. It is a different line. They almost said the same thing. Well, I like swimming. Speaking of which, Ibuki, do you like deduction? Why ask about that now? Are you asking about whether I like playing this killers and detectives game with the rest of you? Sure. Watching Sai as she floated back and forth, Ran had a bit of trouble finding her bearings. She wasn't sure why Sai was asking that all of a sudden. I've always thought from the start that this entire thing was fundamentally wrong. Even if the victims can be brought back through correct reasoning, murder itself is always an extreme act to perform. The situation we had this time with Asakura and Indo has honestly left me a bit worried. If we can't resolve their issues properly, then the next time Asakura draws the killer's card, she is definitely going right back to tormenting Indo. Yeah, I would never have imagined that Asakura would get that vicious with Indo, but it kind of looks like their relationship has actually improved for it, rather than worsening somehow. Maybe, I guess overall I don't like the fact that you all continue to engage in this kind of activity, but I suppose the deduction and reasoning itself is fairly enjoyable for me. The more difficult, the better, right? Hardly. The situations where the killer thought they finished the victim off, but the victim was able to write a note in blood detailing the key clues. Now that's the best kind of case if you ask me. That's a lie. I like the kind of riddles where the success rate is 1%. Though usually in cases like that, the 1% that actually beat the challenge are usually people like Miss Sakura, not me. So I smiled, amused by Ran's words. Her legs beat the water as she floated on the surface. And compared to me, you're the one who's most invested in this game. That time Miss Sakura died. That time Miss Sakura died, you even insisted on having an argument with me. I just recall, like, in the very beginning of the game, um, there was, like, and there, when you generate your stats, like, there's these questions. Wasn't there like one scene that your lover is about to jump from the roof of a building and kill herself, and you fail to save her? And was there another one that we found somebody, a crime scene, and was that also your lover? So I does it mean that Sakura actually committed suicide? I guess those are memories as well. Maybe all of them are. Yeah, all of those scenes might be related to these people. Like, maybe one corresponds with one classmate or something. That might be it. Because, like, there was one case that somebody had swindled you. Like, you had painted a painting for them or something, and they cheated you. And what do you do? How do you get even and stuff like that? Hearing Rand's words, Sai sank into the water. What? I say one thing and you get mad. I don't know how I feel about the situation with murder and revival either, but I feel like I should be doing something. What the hell? Since when have you been one to talk in riddles like that? It's not like you. Sai immersed her entire body in the water, her hair spreading out in the water. She turned her head, seemingly pondering something. Hey, look, it's a green jellyfish. If there's nothing else you'd like to say, then I'm heading out. I wonder if Yoruno is the killer. Because she supposedly saw the victim come out of the shower, but maybe that was a lie. Wait a sec. So I seeming and now might be, thinking of how to kill her. So I seemingly reflexive raised a hand towards Ran. Water dripped off her arm in rivulets, gradually splashing into the surface of the pool below. Never mind, forget it, go ahead. Okay, what's going on? Don't tell me that Yoruno's about to start showing signs of weird personal issues too, following in Take and Asakura's footsteps? Still, the time I spend with Yoruno really is quite enjoyable. I wonder how I came to know her previously. Okay, is this the only one lacking? Koizumi. Oh yeah, I guess it's good to go see her because especially like if she's really suicidal, gonna tell us something. If there's a chance to talk to Koizumi sensei, then let's give it a shot. Even though it might be pointless and just make me feel worse, I don't want to ignore anything anymore. Koizumi, why are you applying medicine on your own again? Didn't I help you with it last time? You could have just called me again. Ran arrived at the infirmary and saw Koizumi, who was in the middle of applying medicine to her injured heel. Ran's arrival startled Koizumi, who shrank back and answered lightly. Ibuki-san. Ran didn't wait for Koizumi to finish before she kneeled by her side again, picked up her leg, and started applying the mildly cold medicine. Ibuki-san, what are you doing here? Have you been injured? I noticed that you were still walking with a bit of strange gait, so I came to check if you didn't come here to apply more medicine or something. My apologies for making you worry. It's fine. For a time there was nothing but the soft sounds of medicine being applied. Koizumi hesitated a moment before speaking. I couldn't believe that Asakura-san would use a method like that. Indo-san must have been in a lot of pain. The two of them are so close, but it also feels like it's not quite that simple. Ran nodded, focused on applying the medicine. I've never been able to build a close relationship with another person before, and after seeing the two of them, it's honestly frightened me a little. Maybe it's best if I keep to the status quo. Was my decision to start changing myself by building a relationship with Ibuki-san a mistake? Koizumi laughed dryly after she finished speaking. Well, maybe I'm just jumping the gun a little. I still haven't established much of a relationship with you yet, after all. Forget whether you established a close relationship with me or not. I've already got Miss Sakura after all, so there's no way that anybody could possibly form any kind of relationship with me, no matter who it is. If you ask me, I'd say that the problem doesn't lie with you. If you dislike your current self, then do anything you can to change it. Anything will do. Koizumi nodded and smiled. She wanted to reach out and touch Ran, but didn't raise her hand. Thank you, Ibuki-san. I feel like I've fallen for a really impressive person. Please don't say things like that. Whenever Koizumi showed any goodwill to Ran, her appearance after becoming a teacher would appear before Ran's eyes. No need to keep reminding me. I know that nothing I say will have any effect. After Ran confirmed that the medicine had been applied evenly, she stood back up. You take care and rest up now. I'll be going. Okay, take care, Ibuki-san. So that's all here. I think there's still one more. Yeah, after dinner, Ran was exploring the dormitory. I guess it's like if I don't go shower with, what's her name, Toyama. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's kitchen that's investigated. The sound coming from the kitchen. Is Yorona still at work? Yes, she was. This been done. Yeah. So yeah, we've done this. Let's just okay, let's go shower. So yeah, let's go shower with her instead. Let's go. Ran and Miho arrived at the bathroom. The baths were already full of hot water. The floor had also been thoroughly cleaned up, and even the chairs and toiletries had been arranged neatly. It didn't look as if anybody else had used the bathroom yet. We are not the first ones to wash, are we? That's right, we're not. Whenever Tama finishes washing, she always cleans up the bathroom afterwards. She does look like the kind of person who'd do that. Ran relaxed her body, letting herself slide almost completely into the water, and closed her eyes as she soaked in the warmth that now suffused her whole body. But even like this, she could still feel Miho's gaze on her. Even from the start, when the two of them were showering outside the bathtub, Ran would occasionally notice Miho looking over at Ran. And when Ran intentionally met Miho's eyes, Miho would immediately break eye contact, only to return to stealing glances at Ran shortly after. What's she up to? Ran opened her eyes and sat up straight, and Miho immediately looked away. Take, what is it, Ibuki-san? What do you mean, what is it? What's with you? If you got something to say, then just say it, rather than staring at me like that. I'm afraid you'll get mad if I do. Well, then don't say it, and stop ogling me. Miho hadn't expected Ran to shut her down so completely, so she replied hastily. I want to say it even if it might make you mad anyways. If it does, feel free to yell at me. Huh. Knew she'd panic and spill if I reacted like that. Well, out with it then. I'm actually a little curious what someone with personality like yours would have to say that would anger me. Ibuki-san. Miho turned aside, gazed at Ran with eyes moistened by the steam. With such eyes upon her, Ran thought that there was no way that she'd get mad no matter what Miho was about to say. Ibuki-san, do you have schizophrenia? Oh, she's perceptive. Oh yeah, because she's been reading the Merck psychological manual, so. Ran's eyes went wide. She immediately and forcefully struck the water with a hand, sending a huge splash. She needed to pretend that she needed to wipe the splashed water off her face so that she could hide the fact that she was wiping her tears. She thought that she didn't care when others discussed that fact anymore, but after Miho had pointed it out so bluntly, Ran instinctively shrank away from her. She pulled herself to the edge of the bath and covered her mouth with her hands, as she stared with wide eyes at Miho Take. I'm sorry, Buki-san, I didn't mean anything by it. If you need help with anything, you can tell me about it. Seeing Ran's response, Miho would almost certainly treat it as confirmation of Ran's schizophrenia. Conflict avoidance, being easily angered, chronic paranoia were all common symptoms of the disease after all. Calm down, Ibuki-san. I'm not going to hurt you. Remember that Aunt's here too, and that you can go see her anytime you need to. Ran lowered her hand. Her body continued to tremble, sending chaotic ripples out into the water around herself. Why would you say something like that? I'm not insane. Sorry, it's just I had a cousin who was like you. Later on, because of her illness, she broke off relations with her family and left the family and never came back. I'm worried about whether or not you might end up making rash decisions, which is why I was wondering if there was any way that I could help you. I've made all kinds of rash decisions already. Ran hugged her legs, still as far from Miho in the bathtub as she could put herself. But I have Miss Sakura to help me, so there's nothing wrong with me. You don't need to worry about me. I have my own ways to keep it under control. Keep it under control? You're taking medicine, then? I used to take olanzapine. That stuff's dangerous if you take too much. It increases the risk of lethal cardiac arrhythmia. An insight freshly acquired from the Merck manual, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Miss Sakura used to take the Merck manual to help me too. That's how I knew. Anyways, olanzapine's a thing of the past. I don't take it anymore. Okay, if you feel uncomfortable or if there's anything making you unhappy, you should definitely tell someone. Don't fucking say shit like that to me. Ran slammed her hands into the water and screamed at Miho at the top of her lungs. What's the fucking point if I tell anyone? You'll just all treat me like a spouting crazy talk. Can you see the things I see? Can you hear the things I hear? Yep, she's schizo, alright. Uh, even if I did tell you, all you do is smile and tell me I don't need to be afraid. And I thought all those things are just delusions, but they're all real to me. If you think I'm mentally ill, then stay as far away from me as you can. Leave me alone. I guess I have to interject like I don't personally know anybody with schizophrenia as far as I know, but there was like a some time ago, back in Finland, like a couple of times on the bus, I saw there was this woman, middle-aged woman, who was talking to her, and it was like she was talking to some invisible people around her or something, and it's almost like making a narrative to the rest of us that that we knew what she was doing, what was going on, and she was sort of like talking to her dead relatives, or and maybe there was like some angel beside her and some devils trying to goad her into, I don't know, torment her or something like that. That's how it seemed that she experienced things, and she even said that she'd been in a mental asylum and she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I think she even said that, and she wasn't talking to me in particular. She was just talking to herself, or maybe the beings that she perceived was around her. And I remember there was like some middle-aged guy sort of, sitting maybe in front of her like some, guy in a suit and sort of trying to hold his laughter. But I was very much intrigued because I didn't know really what to think, but I was just wondering like if it means that, you know um, why does she see it? It's not really like, is she insane or is she really seeing some, into another dimension? It's more like, why does she see it? Like what makes it like is her brain, like, I guess her brain has to be wired differently somehow, like, but is it like is it a malfunction, or is it really like she's is more attuned to some different frequency that normal people aren't? But yeah, it's just like I guess she lived in the general area as me, and I think I only saw her like a couple of times on the bus. But yeah, she was quite, obviously making the narrative. So I don't know if partially she liked the attention that, of the, the she wanted to, maybe she wanted to have an audience of the people in the bus. But I just thought it was fascinating, like certainly a bit disturbing when you are there, but I don't know. I just I do find it interesting when it actually, you're faced with something like that. After Ran spoke, she immediately stood and strode away from the bats. Miho was worried that she'd slip and fall, and rose as well, wanting to follow her out. Get away from me! After Ran screamed at Miho again, all Miho could do is sit back down into the water. I'm sorry, Ibuki-san. Ugh, talking about how I have everything under control, and then I wind up screaming at Take anyways. I made an embarrassment of myself. Ibuki, Yoruna, do you need to prepare that much food? Just finished washing everything. Now I've got to prepare some of the more labor intensive stuff. There's 8 months to feed right now, so it's blah blah blah. I think we've had this conversation a couple of times. Forget about me. What's up with you? Did you get into a fight? Whoops, looks like they heard me. I must have been too loud. I'll go apologize to Take. Good girl. Ugh, why'd you even bother to ask if you'd already overheard it all? It's so annoying. Sai smiled and rubbed Ran's soggy hair with her hand before returning to the kitchen. Get to the kitchen, woman. Ran lowered her shoulder. She was quite aware that everybody here was just trying to look out for her. It was wrong of her to throw tantrums like that. For me, nowadays when I see the word tantrum, I think of dwarves. Because, in Dwarf Fortress, the dwarves throw tantrums. But I haven't played the game in over 10 years, I believe, or maybe 10 years ago. I'm not quite sure, but it's been a long time, so it's probably quite more advanced now. But anyways, let's continue this game. Okay, returning to her room, she immediately ducked into the bed sheets and flipped over her to face the wall. Before long, Miho pushed the door open and entered the room as well, and shrank in on herself, not wanting Miho to see her face. I'm sorry, Take. I shouldn't have spoken to you so harshly just now. It's okay, Buki-san. I was at fault as well. Miho was waiting for Ran to say something else in response, but after waiting a while and seeing that Ran had no intention of following up, she continued speaking. Then let's go to bed and get some rest. Good night. Miho lay down on the top bunk and turned off the lights in the room. Okay, I guess finally we can end the recall. I think that should be everything. I still have to check the manual. What's this? Lunchtime turned out the same as yesterday. The atmosphere was a bit glum, and it seemed that Sai's attempt to liven up the mood with lavish lunch hadn't had much success. If Koizumi-sensei really killed herself, does that make it my fault? The way Aya and Miho argue is just the worst. They're both so certain that they're the one who's in the right and that they're just doing what's best for each other. Terms. So yeah, I guess all of this stuff is, really evidence of her schizophrenia, because both, there's the other personality in her mind that actually seems to be like a real, some other kind of spirit, whether it's Sakura's real personality or something else, I don't know. But then she, has connections to these weird beings. Observer's ticket. The observer's ticket is an 8 cm by 6 cm round trip bus ticket made of copper lined paper. The left side of the ticket stub has a departure arrow drawn on it, upon it. After an intelligent being rips the ticket at the dotted line, that being will be transported within 0.1 seconds to the scene of a major event caused by that intelligent being. The exact definition of a major event has been lost due to memory loss. The transportation is completely random and unaffected by the passage of time. Passage of time! Kamala Harris mentioned. She is a time demoness. After arriving at the destination, the torn ticket stub will reappear with the departure arrow having been replaced by a return arrow. Ripping the ticket stub again will return the traveler to their point of origin within 0.1 seconds. Whenever an intelligent being goes 20 years without experiencing a major event, that being will immediately embark on a journey to find and obtain an observer's ticket. Such journeys always end up with the successful discovery of a ticket within 36 days at most. Whether or not the being in question uses the ticket after acquiring it, however, is a decision left to them alone. Ran Ibuki once utilized the ticket to travel to a distant planet outside the Milky Way. However, after using 12 separate tickets, Ran Ibuki found that further tickets would no longer take effect upon her. Okay, this is getting weirder and weirder. I'm just wondering, what is a major event? Like, how major does it have to be? Like, is my child being born, is that a major event, or does it have to be even something more major? Like, I don't know, Nyarlathotep almost devouring my head or something. Because that happened too, of course. Missed me by that much. Sai, you must have worked really hard to prepare this many dishes for us. Please, you should really ask the rest of us to help out when we can. It's fine, this is my job. The food is wonderful, Yorona-san. You're not bad at cooking either, Indo. We're about evenly matched on this front. Well, it looks like the atmosphere did improve just a bit, but Ran looked towards Asakura's empty seat. Indo, Asakura is missing. Is she not coming down to breakfast? Tama noticeably startled a bit when her name was called and stuttered for a few moments before answering. I don't know. I sent her a text, but she hasn't replied. Can't believe even you can lose track of Asakura once in a blue moon. Forget her. I'll whip up something for her personally once she turns up. Tama nodded and continued eating, though her movements had slowed significantly compared to just prior. Miss Sakura, do you want to discuss the case together like we did last time? I just remembered I haven't saved in a while, so I guess I should do that. It's over an hour since I last saved. Okay. In case the game glitches or something. Although it hasn't, but still, you never know. So you wanna discuss the case together? Sure, that's fine. Hold up. Where the white woman at? Popping up out of nowhere, Sai interrupted the conversation between Ran and Anne. She even draped an arm over Ran's shoulder as she spoke. Sakura, could you loan me Ibuki for a bit? There's something at the swimming pool I need her help with. How sus? What? No, I want to be together with Miss Sakura. Resistance is futile. She's the Borg. You're coming with me to help clean the pool. Oh no. Cleaning the pool? No, it sounds exhausting. Do it yourself. Alright, I'll be taking her now. Or maybe Yoruno has figured out that it is actually Sakura is the killer and she's trying to, I don't know, spare her feelings. I don't know. Anne nodded and waved farewell to Ran as she struggled in vain against Sai's abduction. Sai told Ran to stay at the edge of the pool and not to go anywhere, while she retrieved a plastic box from the changing room. What's this? You'll know in a moment. Next, Sai got a transparent cup out and scooped up some water with it. Before getting a pH test strip out of the box and placing it in a cup. Ran watched as the paper slowly turned deep blue and nodded. Very alkaline, maybe around 9 or 10 if I had to guess. Yeah, just about, I 10-9. Anyways, we need to lower it a bit. Most swimming pools have a pH of 7 or 7.5 or so. Hey, Agent Double Hertz, welcome. Yeah, well, I'm still streaming. Now I'm curious, like, am I logged out of some stream or something? No, I still streaming. Yeah, I think my stream should be up. Okay, let's get back to the game. Yeah. So, how are we gonna do that? Yeah, I have a nice stream, like, I guess a sort of slower and more quiet one this time, but still nice. I knew you'd immediately be interested in this sort of thing. So I got a bag out of the plastic box and handed it to Ron before pointing at the other end of the pool. This is disinfectant powder. Go sprinkle it into the water at the end and I'll start from this end. Try to shake it out evenly. Yeah, it just says over 2 hours and 20, so I thought it wouldn't go that much longer. Okay, but if you hear me now, then I guess it means that the stream is still continuing. And here I thought we were going to drain the water and then go down and manually scrub the pool. Well, I guess I won't stream much longer, but let's see if we can solve the murder, or maybe not. There's probably gonna be some complications still. So it might take some time before solving it. That'd be way too much effort, no need for it this time. Because yeah, there's been another murder or possibly a suicide. That'd be way too much effort, no need for it this time. Once we toss in the disinfectant, it'll kill the bugs and germs and stuff. And then we can drain the water underground to filter and cycle it. Underground filtering? What's all this? There's a machine under the swimming pool that will filter out contaminants in the water. After that, all I have to do is pour the pH adjustment solution and everything will be okay after that. Winter's almost here, and once it freezes over we won't be able to use the swimming pool, so we'll wait for the ice to melt in the spring before we drain the water down there and scrub the pool. I see, and here I thought that there was no way to scrub the pool without draining all the water. Well, this time our primary goal is to clean the water in the pool and not the pool itself. Anyways, That's enough blubbering, let's get started. Sai gave Ran a nudge in the butt with one knee to prompt her to get to work. In response, Ran turned and made a silly face at Sai before jogging off to the other end of the pool with the disinfectant. No, there's somebody being killed and they're just like, yeah, let's clean the pool, she can stay dead. Holding a plastic bucket full of disinfectant in one hand, Ran used a large plastic ladle in her other hand to sprinkle the powder over the pool. Because Sai told her that she had to spread it evenly, Ran was forced to take her time so that the disinfectant could spread through each and every drop of water. The last time I had to do something like this mindlessly repetitive, I was at the delusory crossroads, I think. Is that another weird schizo concept? Yes, it is. But here it's just like when I'm showering. I can calm down and contemplate other things such as... So let's check the term. Delusory crossroads. There are an anomalous phenomenon situated within the city of Najaf. Getting lost within local graveyards in the city will cause one to unconsciously enter an altered state. The altered space contains endlessly repeating crossroad intersections as well as large numbers of regularly positioned coffins. Each coffin has someone's name inscribed upon it along with the dates of birth and death. By entering and falling asleep within a coffin, one can speak with the person whose name is written on that coffin within their dreams. However, when they awake, they will completely lose their memories of the dream. Those who enter the delusionary crossroads by accident must find a coffin without a name and carve their own name, date of birth, and the date that they entered the crossroads upon it. Then they must enter and fall asleep within that coffin. If they do this, they will awaken the last place where they fell asleep. Ran Ibuki once sought out the coffin of a certain person here, details lost due to memory loss, and laid herself within that person's coffin. Using the notebook to record their conversation afterwards, she scratched the existing name of a different coffin and scratched her own personal details into that coffin to secure her escape from the delusory crossroads. I'm just thinking if all of these weird concepts, if they're actually relevant somehow, like, is it just, to really emphasize the weirdness? But I guess they will, at some point in the game, they will probably do some, maybe you gain an observer's ticket or go to the Red Ruins, or some of them, like maybe they're relevant, maybe we are stuck in a location like these weird things right now, I guess, probably. Like, I guess, the reason that we are adding them to the notebook, there is probably some reason other than just to, create this really strange universe or whatever. Anyways, Ran continued her mechanical movements so as she passed one of the corners of the pool, such as the situation with Koizumi Sensei and Asakurai. It seems now like all the students in this school have some kind of connection to me. They all have some kind of place in my life, one way or another. But when I first came here, I didn't have any memory of them, and yet despite that, I didn't notice any dissonance. Even though I'd forgotten Koizumi Sensei, I didn't see any inexplicabilities appear in my memories of high school. It's like all my memories were changed from person A and I went to eat hamburger to just I went to eat hamburger by myself. Despite the clear difference, as a self-consistent snippet of memory, there's no problem at all. Only the involvement of the other party was redacted. So I can assume that the being who tossed me here wanted me to regain my memories of everybody here. Hmm. Ran continued spreading disinfectant and as she looked up towards the sky. From my standpoint, it seems. From my standpoint, it is the Jedi who are evil. It seems kind of pointless, but I don't need to guess at their goals, I just need to do what I'm supposed to do. Rather, a more interesting theory presents itself to me. Now, if my redacted memories don't leave me feeling any dissonance, then is it possible that I had a companion while I was going through anomalies like Red Ruins or the Delusionary Crossroads? Interesting. Even though I'm sure that I was strong enough to do whatever was necessary to find Miss Sakura by myself, it's still possible that perhaps Ran threw out another spoonful of disinfectant, but this time the powder kicked up a stark black ripples when it made contact with the surface of the water, as though Ran had tossed a spoonful of the night sky into the pool. Huh? Ron bent over, stared intently at that patch of water, waiting for the water to return to normal after the ripples settled. In hesitant disbelief, she tossed out another spoonful of powder. This time, though, the surface of the water displayed nothing out of the ordinary. What's going on? Is there something off about that patch of water? Can't be. I went into the water during recall before, and nothing weird happened back then. Ran set down the plastic bucket. She took a knee to the pool's edge and reached out forwards towards the surface of the water. Hey, don't move! Sai grabbed onto Ran's wrist and halted her. What do you think you're doing? We just got a lot of disinfectant into the pool. If you reach out and touch it now, you'll burn the skin on your hands. Ran nodded and pulled her hand back. Was I just seeing things? If it burns skin now, how are you going to swim from now on? It'll be fine once the disinfectant fully dissolved into the water and we'll filtered it out and rebalanced the pH. Have you tired yourself out or something? Feel free to leave the rest to me if you want to take a break. No, I just stopped because I thought the color of the water looked a bit off. Alright, let's keep at it then. It was probably just a hallucination. Let's not think too hard about it. I'll cheer myself up by thinking about Miss Sakura instead. Scattering disinfectant over the pool proved to be much more an arduous chore than Ran had imagined. By the time that Sai had announced that they could pack it in, Ran felt like her arms had dislocated themselves. Letting her arms dangle loosely from her shoulders, Ran stumbled over to Sai. I'm about to activate the filter machine. You wanna come with? How long is it gonna take? It's probably gonna run all the way until just before dinner. Forget it. I'm out. I'm exhausted. Go ahead. Go ahead. As Ran looked forward to spending some time alone with Anne, she quickly headed back to the dorms. And then she noticed Thomas standing at the door, looking this way and that with a nervous expression. What's going on? Indo noticed me. As Tama ran towards her, Ran subconsciously put her hands out with palms facing up. To her surprise, Tama really did put up her little hands into Ran's palms like a little puppy doing a shake hands trick. She sure looks exhausted. uh, I'm just thinking if there's like another murder or something. Cute! Ibuki-san, please hurry. Takei-san and Toyama-san are having an argument in the kitchen. Koizumi-san and Asakura-san are around and I don't know what to do. Okay, another argument. What about Miss Sakura? She's around, isn't she? Sakura-san is trying to break it up, but doesn't look like it's working. Please hurry and help. What do these two think they're doing? Causing trouble for Miss Sakura like that? Ran released Tama's hands and quickly ran into the dorm building. As soon as she entered the kitchen, she heard Miho shouting at the top of her lungs. Can you not be so childish? Aya, on the other hand, sat on a chair with her legs folded, not even sparing a glance towards Miho. Her expression was full of displeasure. Anne stood between the two of them, helplessly repeating, Let's not fight, let's sit down and talk it out properly and over and over. Miss Sakura? Ran was more concerned with the bewildered expression on Anne's face than she was with the spat itself. Ibuki-san! Uh? Miho rushed over and seized Ran's wrists. We're leaving. What? Miho dragged Ran up the stairs to the second floor and then into their room, and Miho slammed the door shut behind them and fell into one of the chairs. What are you even doing? Nothing, I was just using you as an excuse to get out of there. You came just in time. Ran pulled up a chair next to Miho's chair and sat down. At least this means you are going to finally spill the beans about why exactly you two are fighting, right? Our reason for fighting would sound quite mundane to an outsider, so I don't want to talk about it. You two are really making a lot of trouble for everyone at this point, though. It's fine, I'll figure out a way to deal with it. This is a problem between you and Toyama. I'm pretty sure that you trying to figure something out just by yourself isn't going to be sufficient. Miho wanted to contradict Ran, but she found she had nothing to say. Let's talk about it later. No. Ran leaned over the table, reached out, and grabbed Miho's shoulder. Miss Sakura came out to try and to mediate between you two herself, but neither of you paid any attention to her. You've made quite a lot of trouble for Miss Sakura. Miho shrank back a little, just like she did in the classroom when the newly arrived Ran Ibuki had forcefully demanded that she reveal the name of the victim. So I need to do something about your problem quickly so that Miss Sakura can be free of the need to worry about the two of you. Even though Ran said it in a reproaching tone of voice, the words she'd said immediately made Miho seem to relax. Wow, you really are terrible at showing your concern for others. But you and Anne are both good people, and I don't want to cause any more trouble for the two of you. Ran sat back down and shook her head. Any goodness I possess is entirely the result of Miss Sakura's influence on me. I sort of believe that. Anyways, just give me a little time. Once I've prepared myself, I promise I'll tell you about it. Alright, let me know after dinner then. New recall point. Uh-huh. I'm concerned about the situation at the dorms, but I also want to visit indoors. So, there's only one. Let's go see. There's three people here. I don't know. Let's go see her. Maybe I'll end the stream after talking to her or something. Because clearly this murder is not gonna be solved anytime soon. When Ran returned to the first floor of the dormitory, she didn't see Tama anywhere, so she headed right for the library. Unsurprisingly, that was exactly where she found Tama. Ibuki-san, how did the situation with Takei-san and the rest turn out? Well, they're calmed down, more or less, but the situation still hasn't been resolved. Tama nodded, rubbing her hands against each other incessantly. I wanted to stay there, but I didn't know what to say. All I could do is just watch helplessly. After that, Yoruna-san came back, and once Sakura-san explained everything to her, she told me that I didn't need to wait around there. Yoruna was worried that Indo would feel awkward just standing there, huh? Yeah, Yoruna was right. And I was almost done with my letter anyway, so I came to the library. Tama picked up a stack of letter paper and handed it to Ran. Could you take a look at it for me, Ibuki-san? Wait, why are you making me read your letters? I thought they were for Asakura. I've written my feelings, questions, and thoughts down in there, just like in notes from the underground. Asakura-san is very smart, so once she's finished reading these, she'll surely be able to give me an answer and convey to me her thoughts as well. All of these things I'm trying to express reflect Asakura-san's presence in my life as well. Okay, but that just makes me more confused about why you want me to read them then. I was able to find the resolve to write these because you helped me, Ibuki-san. Not to mention the letter is yet incomplete. I feel that it's still missing something very important. I can't come to a decisive conclusion from the contents of my letter, so I'd like you to offer some suggestions, Ibuki-san. Ran nodded and began looking through the pages. The contents were very close to what she'd expected. The letter was packed with abstruse philosophy. After seeing notes from underground, she figured Tama would have written something like this. Damn, I'm absolute garbage with this stuff. But Yanagivara Shirahana, where have I heard that name before? Sorry, Indo, I can't really give you much in the way of advice here, but it looks pretty complete content-wise as far as I can tell. If you need to distill it down into some kind of thesis, I think you might have to rely on your own thinking. I can't help you there. Tama shook her head and took the letter back. It's fine, Ibuki-san. You've already helped me a lot just by saying that. Thank you. Dinner time's almost here. You should bring your letter and come with me. Speaking of which, just where has Asakura run off to? Yeah, guess I will end the stream here. Let's save the game before I forget. Save here. I guess tomorrow I hope it's time to solve this murder and I guess solve the spat too. But it is interesting that the characters seem more concerned with this spat between the couple rather than a murder or suicide of a person. But anyways, thank you for showing up, Agent Double Hertz, and thank you for everybody else for watching. And I'm Adventure Argonaut, and bloody bloody blah. I hope I see you next time. Bye bye.